every spring, I like to make a video showing my top spring baits. Now this changes from year to year, so if you watched it last year, you're going to see some new stuff this year. I'm super excited to get into the video. I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit, but there's some amazing baits in here. So one of the most popular baits in spring fishing is a bladed jig. And right here is a prime example. And when I fish bladed jigs, I like to stand out, as you can see, and I like to fish something that's different. Everybody's going to throw a bladed jig, but everybody might not throw the color that I throw. And right here's a prime example of that. This is like a chartreuse in a blue. And then this one's a fire craw. So some of the other colors that I like to fish are white, black and blue, and just flat chartreuse. Now there's two types of trailers that I like to use. Number one being a paddle tail on the back of it. That gets it a nice swimming action. It works really, really well. When I'm fishing around rocks, I like to put on a craw right there. Those appendages kind of flutter through the water. Now I'm fishing a paddle tail around wood and fixed structure and stuff like that. But anytime I'm fishing around rocks, I have a craw on.
Here's a close-up of both of the bladed jigs.
Now there's two kinds of jigs that I like to fish. I throw swim jigs and I throw little finesse jigs in the springtime. Swim jigs are one of my favorite baits to throw in the spring. And this right here is a Guggen Squad bluegill jig. And the reason that I like this color is after ice out, where I'm fishing where all of the pan fishermen and everybody that's pan fishing out there, I'm fishing for bass where they are because the bass are hungry and they're looking for a nice meal. So wherever they're bluegill fishing, wherever they're perch fishing, that's where you want to fish after ice out. Now these little finesse jigs work really well too. I fish these on a spinning rod, but a swim jig and a finesse jig. Now we all know that there's tons of crankbait types, tons of varieties, and tons of different sizes and shapes. Now when it comes to crankbait fishing, there was one crankbait that stands out the most from any other crankbait, and I would go out on a limb and say it's one of the most popular crankbait styles and colors out there. So my favorite crankbait of all time is the Strike King Sexy Shad right there. And it comes in two different sizes. Well, they may have more sizes, but I only fish the two sizes. And the one I fish the most is the 1.5. The 1.5 is very versatile because if you're tournament fishing, it's an easy way to get a limit and the big fish will still bite it. Now, if you're after a little bit of a bigger fish, you can go ahead and go with the 2.5.
This is my #1 pattern for fishing the Mississippi River.
So the next thing we're going to talk about is my second favorite color, and that is red. All right, so right here are two 13 fishing Gordos, okay? So this color is a really awesome color because it's kind of a matte crayfish-ish. And I said ish, it sounds like fish, but it's a matte crankbait color. And that's a sweet color for clear water. And a lot of you guys may not know, but when you have clear water, you want to go with a more matte color. When you have dirty water, after all that ice or a lot of water is coming in, the river is flooding, a bright color is always a good way to go.
Here's a closer look at both of these baits. Go ahead and give them a try.
One more thing that I wanted to add in is a bait like this. This is made by Westin, but if you're fishing pressured ponds and stuff like that, don't be afraid to stand out. Fish a bait that's a little bit different. You're definitely going to get some more bites. So now that we've been talking about some shallower crankbaits, let's talk about some bigger crankbaits for bigger fish, well, some deeper water. DT10 stands for dives to 10 feet essentially. So if you see DT12 or DT5, it's dives to and then that number. I have these two colors. This is like an amazing color for the river. Looks just like a shad. And this is a little bit of a brighter color. Now, a lot of you guys may not know, but a balsa bait and a plastic bait are very different. They run a lot different, and they're useful for fishing different kinds of weather conditions in different times of the year. I'm going to fish a balsa bait in the early spring when the fish are slow, and in the late fall when the fish are slowing down and feeding. Spring and fall. that's when I like to fish balsa baits.
These balsa baits made it on my list because they have such a unique action.
While we're talking about deep diving baits, let's talk about these Guggen Squad deep diving crankbaits right here. So I really like this color because it's kind of like a Strike King Sexy Shad, but it's got a little bit of green to it. So it's got a lot of contrast, which might help the, the bite. This one right here is like a darker shad color. But both of these baits are excellent options for the spring and even the fall.
If you're looking for more action, try out a plastic deep diver.
The last bait that I'm going to talk about for our moving baits video is the Megabass Magdraft. The Megabass Magdraft is a very unique soft plastic swim bait. It has a very unique action and many different features that Megabass has to make their bait stand out. Now this color is very unique because it's got that pink line going through it, but then it's also got like a shaddish brown to it. Now this bait is actually airbrushed, as you can see. Where am I going to fish a Magdraft? Another place that I'm going to fish this is offshore on sand flats, near rocks, stuff like that. Schooling bass are going to go nuts for this bait. I'm very excited to get to try this one out, but a Magdraft is an excellent choice for spring fishing when those big bass are looking for big meals before they're spawning. So I hope this video helped. Give it a like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I will do a giveaway once we get to 600 subscribers on YouTube. Maybe we'll give away a Magdraft. So make sure you like the button, hit the subscribe button. You're entered into the giveaway.
Wow.